A very good afternoon, Zimbabwe. Masquerasi. I'm very sorry I'm late. I was supposed to be here by 1:30, but I'm quite late. But we need to talk about the reason why they are actually fighting Nelson Chamisa at this moment in time. We've seen ZANU PF and crew fighting Nelson Chamisa tooth and nail. Those within ZANU PF and those outside ZANU PF at this moment, everybody is fighting Nelson Chamisa. So the normal situation would be seeing ZANU PF fighting Nelson Chamisa and other people who claim that ZANU PF must go. We expect to see them fighting ZANU PF tooth and nail, but they've ignored ZANU PF and they've taken it to task to fight Nelson Chamisa. And you need to look into the reasons why they are doing so, the reasons why they have formed a coalition against Nelson Chamisa. So the able to clearly present that they are fighting Nelson Chamisa because it's very important to do so. So there are several reasons why they are fighting Nelson Chamisa. Number one, to those who are in business, there are business people who are actually fighting Nelson Chamisa. And to those who are in business, the reason why they are fighting Nelson Chamisa is because they have been involved in various shenanigans during their tenure in terms of business. So some of them they are involved in tax evasions, and when you are involved in tax evasion, and or if you have been involved in tax evasion issues or scandals for a very long time, you are likely more defensive when it comes to change. Why? It's because they know very well that the introduction of a new government, or if Nelson Chamisa comes in, is going to bring a new norm. And it has been confirmed by his character and by his behavior. They've been lobbying for Nelson Chamisa to join them, to be part of them, to be manipulated, and to be controlled. And Nelson Chamisa has rejected all those offers both institutional and personal capture. The moment you resist it, you become an enemy because you now threaten what some people did in the past. So Zimbabwe, tax evasion being pursued. And when we begin to pursue the issues like tax evasion, we begin to unravel some things. You won't be pursuing those things, but in the process of unraveling some information, you find out kuti kunotori nevanhu vakawanda vanga vachita tax evasion. And a lot of them, of these business people, they are going to suffer. And for that, they hate Nelson Chamisa. So they have seen Nelson Chamisa as an enemy to their wealth. They have seen Nelson Chamisa as an enemy to their progress. So you will see the issue of tax evasion has made business people who benefited through tax evasion to actually fight Nelson Chamisa. Then there is another category of people, which is very, very important for us to note, the money launderers. So politicians and business people, they've been involved in money laundering activities for a very long time. And these people, they know very well that the government of Nelson Chamisa is going to deal decisively with money launderers. And when dealing with money launderers, you are going to see Nelson Chamisa roping in my institutions akaita sana World Bank na IMF, my institutions, my American institutions, or my European institutions, to make sure that they recover each and every penny. So there are a lot of people who have stashed their money in Swiss accounts, and given that America, Nelson Chamisa does have a better relationship with countries like Sweden, like America, there is a high probability that those monies are going to be recovered and those monies are going to be tracked. So the people who are involved in money laundering, both who are in business and both who are in politics, those people, they are actually going to fight Nelson Chamisa tooth and nail. And they don't want Nelson Chamisa to be leading because they know that they have stashed the billions of dollars outside Zimbabwe. and they don't want that those billions of dollars to be repatriated back home. The reason why Nelson Chamisa will be able to do so is because he has surrounded himself with people with clean records, people without records. It becomes easy for you to deal with criminal activity and criminal elements. It means he can at any time pursue money launderers, can at any time pursue vanhu vanenge vachiita illicit business activities. So let us look on another category of people who are fighting Nelson Chamisa tooth and nail. And these are people who are fraudsters. So in Zimbabwe, there are a lot of people who are fraudsters, and they operate, or they survive on fraud. They simply survive on fraud. These are people who are con men. So when they're doing fraud, they do fraud even to the government officials, even to the government itself. They practice fraud. So if you look on this group of people, fraudsters in the nation of Zimbabwe, they know that their days are numbered, their time is up. So a new government like of Nelson Chamisa is going to bring in mechanisms, proper mechanisms, which are going to deal with the issue of fraud, which are going to deal with the issue of white collar thievery or white collar robbery. So you'd see fraudsters funding the ZANU-PF people, funding the conmen for them to be MPs, for them to be councillors, so that they stop Nelson Chamisa. So I'm going to explain how these people are doing, but let us look on another very important category of people which are fighting Nelson Chamisa. Yes, this is another very important category of people which is fighting Nelson Chamisa. This is the corrupt team. So the corrupt element in the nation of Zimbabwe is fighting Nelson Chamisa tooth and nail. Why? Is because they've been involved in various corrupt activities for a very long time, and they've looted, they've taken everything from the state coffers, institutions. Look at NASA, look at state-owned institutions like NRZ, look at the police, look at the Judicial Service Commission, look at the Anti-Corruption Commission itself. So you would see, look at ZUPCO, look at the massive corrupt activities which are happening there. So these gangsters, they know very well that they've built houses, they've acquired wealth through corruption, and they don't have any other business to support whatever shenanigans they've been doing. Which means if we are to change a government and we are to bring back each and every cent, each and every dollar, the corrupt element in the nation of Zimbabwe will be held accountable. So those people, they don't want change. Those people, they are fighting Nelson Chamisa tooth and nail, not because of any other thing else, because Nelson Chamisa has refused to be captured, has refused to work a hand in glove with them. So you are going to see a different leader coming in, an honest leader coming in, and you're going to see a different group of people defending their loot, defending their corrupt activities. And so let me look at people. These are also the majority. So these are sexual abusers. These are people this group of people I apologize for my network connection, but I hope that I'll be able to actually proceed with this presentation. So we were talking about the sexual abusers, and they are part of the group of the people who are fighting Nelson Chamisa each and every day. So let us put right here on the screen the next category of people who are fighting Nelson Chamisa tooth and nail. So you see, Kuti, Nelson Chamisa is not fighting only one group of people. He's fighting a lot of people. Right. There is an issue of injustice in the nation of Zimbabwe. This is a very important aspect. So if you are to look on the Judicial Service Commission itself, the National Prosecution Commission, they've committed heinous crimes of injustice. If you look at the police itself, they've committed heinous crimes in terms of this system, or in terms of injustice in the nation of Zimbabwe. And they know themselves that they've participated in the most unjust practices. So change to them is something which is not which is not good. Change to them is something which is not proper. They know very well on that day a lot of people are going to make appeals. If we are to have a functional judicial system, a lot of people are going to approach the courts making appeals, starting from the people vakatoseva masentences vakapedza. You are going to see a lot of people making appeals. You are going to see a lot of civil cases dzichiapiliwa futi. So you are going to see a lot of things happening. A lot of decisions are going to be reversed. And this does have an implication on the people who are involved in massive injustice, where they just pay my prosecutors, where they just pay my lawyers, or they just pay my judges and my magistrates for the judgments to come in their favor. So this grouping of people is definitely fighting Nelson Chamisa because they don't want justice to be served at a later stage. So they enjoy the injustice which is happening in the nation of Zimbabwe. They enjoy the status quo of things. They enjoy the situation we have right now in the nation of Zimbabwe. So they're not going to tolerate any change, and they're going to fund the ruling party and its surrogates, and they're going to make sure that they try by all means to stop Nelson Chamisa. This is another group of people. Then we have a group of people who got jobs through nepotism. Go to Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. There are people who got jobs there which they don't deserve, just because vana vemazanu PF big wigs vakawana mabasa. It recently happened. So those people, if that person is at stake, that person is going to fight tooth and nail to say, I'm not going to let Nelson Chamisa win this election because I didn't get this job through competency. I got this job through bogus means, through nepotism. So they are fighting Nelson Chamisa, and they are not going to allow him win. If you go to the people vakapinda basa military through military bosses, through kuma police bosses, through if you go to the judiciary, through kuti yamaningi, all those people, they are actually going to fight Nelson Chamisa throughout the 2023 election campaign. Because they've enjoyed the loot for a very long time. That is the reason why you see it difficult for people, for government workers to stand up. They cannot stand up because some of them akangoda kuti asimuke anobvanze shamwari uzivi ndindakakupinza basa. ukada kuti utaure kubvonzi ndindakakupinza basa, remember that. So you will see kuti we will never have civil servants rising up or standing up to the truth. Is because of that capture. So you will see kuti these are groups of people which I'm mentioning here, of people who are not going to let Nelson Chamisa get into power. So we have talked about injustice. So here are the consequences. So Zimbabwe is part of Interpol. And Interpol in a red notice. When a red notice is issued, there is a criminal ari kufanira kunge achibatwa ari kurarama ari in a member state in Interpol. So what it means is that when Nelson Chamisa gets into power, there are a lot of people who are going to be arrested, who are in countries where Interpol is operating from. So whatever you see ZANU-PF, those are just side shows. They are not doing anything to make sure that they bring back those people. They are not serious. Why? Xavier Kasupere was once in Zimbabwe and he was released and he went back to South Africa. So the question is, how did he end up getting released and going back to South Africa? That is the important question. So you will see they will never arrest each other. They will never bring each other to justice. But if we are to have a new government, we are going to see those people facing the law. We are going to see Interpol being robbed in, Interpol doing its part. So they know very well about all this. That is the reason why they will fight by all means possible to make sure that Nelson Chamisa does not get into power. Because even if they are to run away, avazi vese vachakwanisa kuenda kuChina, avazi vese vachakwanisa kuenda kuRussia. Some of them will go to countries dzakaita sana Dubai, kwavanokwanisa kurepatriatwa, kwavanokwanisa kudzoswa kunoko to face the music and to face the law. Apart from Interpol, there is another very critical issue, the issue of International Criminal Court. So there are people who committed heinous crimes, and they know very well that one day or the other, or they will be required to be before the International Criminal Court. And this grouping of people is not willing to have change in the nation of Zimbabwe, is not willing to have Nelson Chamisa as the leader, because they know that if he becomes leader, they will have to run away from Zimbabwe. When they run away from Zimbabwe, International Criminal Court will begin to hunt them. It's not because of Nelson Chamisa will activate that. No, it's because the international community will begin to look into the crimes against humanity which they committed according to the United Nations Charter. So that alone is making these people fearful. So they know kuti vanogonotiza here in Zimbabwe, vobuda venda kunze kwenyika in other countries, they will be pursued still in those countries. So these people, they are defensive. These people, they are willing to fund the ZANU-PF machinery. They are willing to oil the ZANU-PF machinery and the so-called third way, so as to make sure that they stop Nelson Chamisa. So these are the people that Nelson Chamisa appear an offer which he can't deny. So you would see the reason why people like Trevor Ncube are fighting Nelson Chamisa is not because of anything else. It's because of their stomach. It's because of their greedy. It's because of trying to protect themselves, trying to protect their interests. They know very well that one way or the other, they are going to be found guilty of certain crimes. That is the reason why they don't want Nelson Chamisa to get into power. So on another issue, you will see there are people who have been enjoying a less competitive economy. They've enjoyed a less competitive economy for a very long time because they've been in business alone. No new businesses are getting into the industry, into the economy, are occupying the spaces in the economy. So it means a lot of businesses are kufa ari madiki. So that is an advantage to my companies. Akawana mukana wekuti they gave each other opportunities ndokubva vasimukira ndokubva vakwirira. So you see people like Trevor Ncube, you see them coming up as politicians. In 2018, he was saying Nelson Chamisa will be given an offer he can't refuse. He is using you to negotiate better terms right now. Eventually, he will take the offer. and you'll be left on your own. When has politics ever been about you? Be woke, keep this tweet. And that has not happened. So these are the people who have now realized that Nelson Chamisa has refused to be captured. Nelson Chamisa has refused to be used. And they're trying to use third way to make sure that they destroy Nelson Chamisa, or to make sure that they divide the vote and they stop Nelson Chamisa. What is their main agenda? Their main agenda is not to have ZANU-PF winning the elections in 2023. Their main agenda is to have a situation where ZANU-PF is going to lose the election, CCC is going to lose the election, and they are going to lose the election. Why? Whenever you see them mentioning about or talking about the third way, they talk about something important. They refer to 2008. And what is all about 2008? They refer to the issue of Simba Makoni. So Simba Makoni had 8% in 2008. Morgan Tsvangirai had 47%. And they're saying if you are to combine 8% of Simba Makoni and 47% of Morgan Tsvangirai, if you are to give Morgan Tsvangirai all those votes, Morgan Tsvangirai could have defeated the ZANU-PF government. But let us remember, my results at 2008, they were held for a month. Over a month, my results are now Buddha. Why? It's because they were doctoring results. Morgan Tsvangirai won by more than 70%, 73% to be precise, because at a certain point Mugabe came out and said it. 73%. So you will see that these are people who are coming with different and various narratives to suit their interests. So the issue of Simba Makoni, let us put it aside. It doesn't apply in this issue. The issue is about Morgan Tsvangirai winning with more than 70%, but he was denied victory. So what is happening is that they want to create this third fourth, or this third way. After creating this third way, they will say Nelson Chamisa anakuwina an election. They will say Mnangagwa anakuwina an election. It's that anakuwina an election. Let us go for a runoff. Or then, Wabawachitanga violence. Batanga violence, they will say, let us force a GNU. That is how they want to protect themselves, because they know that if we are to have a GNU, they are going to benefit. If we are to have a GNU, vanenge power, because vanenge certain ministries, vanenge controller certain government departments, vanenge controller, especially in the judiciary, in the military, and in the police. So you will see them coming out protecting themselves time and again. That is the reason why they hate Nelson Chamisa, they're fighting Nelson Chamisa. So you will see with this issue of third way, what Nelson Chamisa ana plan, Nelson Chamisa ana policies, Nelson Chamisa anachi. It's not about you and me. It's about themselves. It's about gatekeeping and keeping their wealth, which means ZANU-PF, fees, and any other third way in Gawi, they are working together to make sure that they stop Nelson Chamisa. Why? They have more to lose than us. Isisu hatina chatinacho at this moment, tatoruza kudhara. But ivo vane mansions avakavaka nemari dzekuba, vane mari dzavakaviga, vane a lot of issues dzavakaita, ma-investments avakaba, mamaini avakaba, ma-farms avakaba. All those issues dzichasvika patime yekuti dzinotanga kusafesa kana Nelson Chamisa akapinda. So both of them vari in exile and vari in existence. They have crimes against humanity. So they will do whatever they can to make sure that they stop Nelson Chamisa and to make sure that they remain in power and they remain relevant in the politics and in the power matrix of the nation of Zimbabwe. So that's the reason why I'm coming up with this issue. Not to entertain you, but to make you aware of what is happening, so that isisu sevanhu tinoziva kuti we are not going to vote for Nelson Chamisa. We are going to vote for change. And who is the person aripo announce change? It's Nelson Chamisa. So we are not doing Nelson Chamisa any favor. We are doing ourselves and the future generations favor. Why? Zimbabwe is going to get back on track Nelson Chamisa achipinda. Why? Mari iriko. Where is that money? It's not from IMF. It's not from World Bank. It's not from America or Britain. Iri muma Swiss accounts ndoma yakavekwa. The information is available. The information is available. So there are people who are willing to provide that necessary information. There are people who are willing to do so. But there are people who are trying to stop that to happen. So development yenyika musafurirwa muchinzanzi ari kuda kudzosa varungu zvinzvigo no Nelson Chamisa anozviziva kuti mari iyoyoyo itoripo ende iri kutozikanwa zvekuti it won't take time for that money to be repatriated back to Zimbabwe. Youya mueconomy ichingopinda mueconomy, you begin to see the economy itself booming. You begin to see Zimbabwe managing to build its own infrastructure, because that money was supposed to be building infrastructure, but yakabiwa ikanosteshwa somewhere. Ukaona vanhu vakaita na Wiku Nejivai vakabama 5 million, vana Justice Mayor vachibama 5 million. What about my big wigs vakaba mari yakwanda sei? Idzi ndo dzavakabatwa idzi. Look at drugs, 60 million involved. Look at Pomona, over 300 million involved. Look at all these shenanigans and all these scandals. Look at the monies which are involved. You will see for yourself the reason why they're fighting Nelson Chamisa. It's not about you. It's not about anything else except to protect their loot. So they are together in this. That is the reason why they are ready to kill, to jail, to maim, to do whatever, to make sure that they silence you. This is the reason why they are committing all sorts of resources. Look at ZANU-PF motors avari kutenga each and every time. They are importing brand new cars time and again. Where are they getting the money? Vano import a regalia each and every time. Where are they getting that money? Iri kubva to those people vakanga vari involved in corrupt activities. Ndokwa iri kubva mariyo. Youya ichifanda musangano. So the third way yamuri kunzwa ichitaurwa third way inongori in extension yeZANU-PF yavakagadzira kuti itore power from Emmerson Mnangagwa and his team. So there are people who are ready to do that. Zvekuti hazvitoshamisi kuzoona pachida kuita dzimwe nzira dzekuti ndova wina ivo vasina kuwina. So you will see kuti as citizens we need to be vigilant, we need to be more serious. Tinofana kutombomira zvinhu zvemajokes and engage each other, making sure that each and every person is aware of what needs to be done, making sure that each and every person deploys self to a critical area. Yaunoziva kuti ndikaenda inini ku this critical area, I will make a change. The honest truth is that ZANU-PF is afraid of us. That is the reason why you have seen in Gokwe, vakanga vachita matoy vachiende kuvhundudzira vanhu. In Mash Central, they've begun those toys dzema-youth. Ndiye kuvhundudzira vanhu, mufunge kuti vane vanhu, ivo vasina. We are the majority and we can't stop them. The reason why I'm saying so is because they don't know, they cannot predict what the junior officers in the military can do. They don't know what they can do. So to give them another chance yekupinda mstreet nepfuti is a very risky thing. You have to know that. To give these junior officers another chance yekupinda muma communities nepfuti vachirova vanhu, it's a very, very risky thing to do to ZANU-PF, because those guns can be turned against them. Masoja iwayo akabatana nevanhu, those guns can be turned against them. They know very well about that. That is the reason why they are now using their youths to intimidate people. They are now trying to capture civil servants, to use them to their advantage. So let us unite and let us be organized as we go to 2023. This team has been defeated, but we are scared. Let us unite. Let us work together. No matter how many people they will kill, no matter how many people they will beat, let us unite in the rally behind Nelson Chamisa. There is no need for you to ask a question if you could vote for a cup of rice, if you could vote for a cup of fertilizer, for a cup of seed, why can't you vote for the future of your children? Why can't you vote to stop looting and to stop whatever is happening? So ask yourself a question. Am I doing enough? Am I doing anybody a favor? and you find an answer. You are not doing anybody a favor. You are doing a favor to your children. You are doing a favor to yourself, because uchasvika patime yauchachembera yauchada help yevana vako financially, medically, and so on. Some of you machembera maakuma 60s muchiri kuenda kumabasa muchiri kushandira mhuri. It's because your children are not employed. Some of you are being taken care of nevabereki venyu muri kutochengeterwa vana. Some of you are being abused abroad. You are being abused outside Zimbabwe. You are being underpaid. You are being used as slaves. That is the reason why you have to sacrifice in 2023. You have to make sure that if you can't come to vote, make sure that your family, everybody else waunoziva ari kuvhota ende ari kunovhotera change. You don't need to walk around parading themselves with seriousness. No. They just need to go and vote for change. So this is it, Team Zimbabwe. I think I have done justice onto this matter. Why are they fighting Nelson Chamisa? Why is it that they are organizing the way against Nelson Chamisa? Is because of their personal interest. And let us stop them. Let us make sure that in 2023, we stop them. We fought for change. We bring change in the nation of Zimbabwe. Signing out, my name is Ronald Makusha. Let us meet in other episodes and other